Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing a makeup tutorial for those of you with mature and aging skin. I have a special guest, beautiful lady from my church. Her name is Kay. She's graciously agreed to come and be my model for today. And we're going to be talking about various products and techniques that work specifically for those of you with mature and aging skin, and those of you who also have hooded eyes and suffer with redness in the skin. So we're going to be addressing all of those things in this video today. We're also going to learn some fun little background about Kay. She toured with a famous group in the 70s, so stick around to find out just who that is. And without further ado, let's jump into the tutorial. We are going to just help color correct a little bit of Kay's redness that she has in her skin. So we're going to take this, this is from Makeup Revolution, we're going to take this green tone and we're just going to put just a little bit. We don't want to go with too much because she can start looking a little pasty and that's not a good thing. So we're just going to dab a little bit on the areas that she has a little extra redness. And it's just going to tone that down so that we don't have to pile on too many layers of foundation. So with mature skin, obviously moisturizing is really important. But also when applying makeup, the less layers, the better. And just really blending everything in really helps. So you can apply with fingers and then go over with a brush or a beauty sponge. We'll kind of use a combination of both today. And our noses, all of us, I think the older we get, our noses tend to get more red. Okay, so we've done a little bit of color correcting. So you can see it's just taken down the rosiness just a little bit. So now we're going to use the Bare Minerals Complexion Rescue on Kay, and you have not used this.
No.
So she's used the It Cosmetics, and that's a little heavy. So we're going to try this. This is really moisturizing, has buildable coverage, has water spheres in it. And so we're just going to dab this. This will feel a little funny for now. And you can rub this in with your fingers or with a brush. This is just a Sedona Lace brush, and I think it just blends beautifully into the skin. Very hydrating. And I think most importantly, I feel like this one does not settle into your fine lines and accentuate pores or problem areas that you have. It has really good ingredients. It has SPF of 30. So if you're going to be out, Kay likes to play pickleball. So if you're going to be playing pickleball, you might have to layer up another sunscreen underneath. But how's that feel?
Good.
Good.
I like it.
Making sure it's completely blended in, and always make sure you blend down into your neck. And when matching, finding your perfect color, you want to match it to your neck, not to what your face color is naturally. And then this product really layers well. So we're going to go back in any areas that you feel like you might need just a little extra coverage. We'll just add just a tiny bit more on the cheeks and the nose, and it blends in really well. You don't have to do another full layer all over the face. You can just do it in a couple areas where you feel like you might need a little more coverage. So we're going to let that kind of sink into Kay's skin and do its wonders and moisturizing. Okay, and we're going to go to the eyes now. So with Kay, and with a lot of us women, as we get older, our hooded eyes can become a little more pronounced as we get older.
Yes.
And it's a challenge. It's a challenge to know what to do. And so we're going to try to do kind of a trick that makes the hooded eye look a little more receded than it is. So to start off, the most important thing for starting is we need a good eye primer, because any shadow that we place on her lid, because the hood covers it, it can really break down the eyeshadow quickly if we don't have a good base. You've probably experienced that.
Yes.
Okay, so I'm going to use this Smashbox 24-hour Photo Finish Shadow Primer, and it's important as our skin is aging that we not use a primer that's too sticky. And
Amen.
you've said you've been experiencing that yourself. So this one is kind of a unique primer. It's a little more of a silicone base primer, which I didn't think would work, but I love it. So close your eyes, and we are going to just brush this. And you can use your fingers if you're doing this on yourself. I'm going to brush this from the lash line all the way up to the brow. And you don't want to use too much, but you definitely don't want to skimp on this product. We're going to use this Naked Smoky palette from Urban Decay, and we're going to use several shades on K in here. So for starters, if you're going to do an all-over lid shade, you do want it to be a matte kind of shade. So we're just going to do something on the lid just to set that primer so it takes any tackiness away and makes your shadows blend a little easier. So close. So we're just going to brush this all over, and we'll add a little extra to the brow bone highlight later. And I'm using a Sigma E25. This is a great blending brush. You want to make sure you have a nice fluffy brush for this. So it'll help you not get too much product on there. Okay, so now that we're all set there, we're going to carve out a new crease of your eye. You didn't know you needed a new one, huh?
Yes, I did.
Okay, so Kay has this Urban Decay single in Tease, and this shade also comes in the Naked 2 palette, and this is a great color. It's kind of a muted dusty plum color, and so it is matte, and this is where I think it's important to do a matte shade. So we're going to just carve out her crease. So her normal crease of her eye is right above her eyeball here, and so we're just going to make a fake crease, a new crease right above that, and you'll see how it kind of makes that area recede just a little bit. So Kay and I were talking about how makeup is kind of like art in a lot of these shadowing and contouring and highlighting.
And,
but you're not an artist.
no.
You said.
I didn't get the artistic side of the brain developed.
That's okay. I think if you work at it, I think makeup, if you know the right way to do things and lots of practice,
Yes.
you can do these things on yourself. So hopefully that's the good thing. You can watch this back and
See what you did.
yeah, that's right. Figure out how we created this faux crease here for you. Okay. And when you're doing this on yourself, obviously you can't close both eyes and do it. So you just want to close one eye, do it, and then look in the mirror before you add any more. So as you can see, we've the difference here. So you want to start with your eye closed, but then if you can keep your eye open and follow right above the crease of the eye, it can help you kind of know where you need to put more shadow. So Kay has quite an interesting background. When her and her husband came to our church, has it been 4 years? 3 years?
3.5.
3.5 years ago. I think we went to coffee or something, and she told me that she traveled with a very prominent group in the, would you say, late 70s, 80s?
Yes, 77 and 78.
Okay. And that was?
Up with People.
Up with People. So for all of you youngsters out there, you might not know who Up with People are. So in a nutshell,
it's an educational organization that provides that education through a show, a musical review, if you will.
mm-hmm.
and they travel all over the world. And they have multiple groups on the road, and each cast is made up of people from all over the world. So.
Okay.
And I traveled with them as a nurse.
Okay.
Back in the day, they used to have a nurse travel with each group.
Very cool.
I think they have a EMT now that travels with them.
Yeah, the titles of professionals have changed and needs and all that.
Right,
so,
right.
But you told me a funny story, because even though you traveled as a nurse, they still wanted you up on the stage, right? And you're a singer, right?
No. No.
So,
No, I don't. I can't carry a tune much.
we're just gonna blend the edge of that softly. So what was their advice to you?
Well, they wanted me to stay away from the microphones, and they told me if I got near a microphone, they'd probably have to turn it off.
That's really the words you want to hear, isn't
Yes.
it? Like, you're such a bad singer, we're gonna turn off that microphone.
The good news is that other people had very strong and lovely voices, so they usually could drown me out. So
They could carry the tune. Now, how many people would travel? How many were in the group on stage?
back in the 70s, the cast was usually about 100 people.
Okay.
With staff and what we would refer to as students, really.
Okay.
And the educational opportunities they had were for advanced work or PR work, as well as stage management and any kind of activity related to a show. So
Okay.
lighting, sound.
Oh, sure. Okay.
My cast was in the United States for the first part, and then we spent 2.5 months in Spain.
Very cool. Very
So that
nice.
was very...
Yeah, that would be a great experience.
Yes, it was.
I'm going to take this Demolition Urban Decay eyeliner. It's a dark, dark, dark brown. And we're just going to go in between the lashes to make your lashes look as full as they can look, okay? So this is going to feel a little weird, but we don't want a line, because obviously with hooded eyes, you're not going to see that line, but we're just going to make our lashes look a little thicker. We'll blend it out, and then we're going to go back on the lid and add a lighter shade. So. Crease color just to set it, because we don't want that transferring anywhere throughout the day. Okay, so now we're going to go onto Kay's lid, and we're going to add a slightly pearly color. So a lot of times with mature skin, you're a little afraid. We don't want glitter, but a little bit of shimmer, I think, and a little bit of a pearl is nice. So we'll first start, she's got this Urban Decay Single in Virgin, and it's a nice kind of beigey pearl color. We're gonna put a little bit of this on the center of her lid, so close. And what this is going to do, by putting a little bit of lightness right here, it's going to give the illusion that her lid space is bigger. And we're going to go all the way into the inner corner, highlight that area with this. And it's okay to go over that smudge liner that we put down, because we want it to just be a nice soft line anyway. And we're not really doing a true cut crease where there's a harsh line, but we are kind of creating a new kind of lid space with that brighter color. And when you're applying makeup on yourself, you can lift your eyebrow just slightly if you're having trouble blending any part around the edge, and that will just kind of help smooth out, but it's not going to tug the skin because we really don't want to be doing that. So you'll see sometimes people are stretching their skin out to make it taut. That's not a good thing. Yeah. Just gonna lift the eyebrow, and we can get in there into the crease. Okay, and then I always go back with the blender brush, and I'm gonna use this second shade, which is Combust, and it is Combust, and it's just a little bit lighter than our crease shade, and so we're gonna go right above that just to blend it into our brow bone highlight, because we don't want our brow bone, as we were talking, we don't want our brow bone to be too light because then it makes the hood look larger. So by spreading our crease color up a little bit higher, it makes the hood look smaller. I think you got an eyelash. There we go. And then another thing that we talked about sometimes is like, what do you do under the lash line, the lower lash line? And believe it or not, it can be good to have just a tiny little hint of definition under there. So I'm going to take this tiny little brush, and we're going to go in with our crease shade. And I'm going to do this before concealer because I want to make sure that we clean up all of this. You can do this after concealer, but look up. We're just going to go right along the lash line. We're going to create just a little bit of a shadow, and this is going to make it look like our eye is actually a little bit larger. It's going to draw, this is that whole contouring thing. So it's going to make it look like your eye space is a little bit wider. Okay, so now we're going to clean up under the eye, and then we'll add some concealer. Okay, we're going to go in with a little bit of color corrector, just kind of in the inner corner of Kay's eyes. So we're going to use this peach tone corrector, and again, we're going to just keep this in a pretty light layer, and this is just going to help correct, and then we're going to add some concealer over the top of that. And so this is going to seem a little crazy at the get-go, but the key with color correcting is you want something opposite on the color wheel. So back to that whole art thing. Opposites on the color wheel, correct. So we're going to use this, this is just a little sample, the It Cosmetics Bye Bye Under Eye Full Coverage Anti-Aging Waterproof Concealer. Such a long name. And I probably even have a little bit too much, but it only takes just a tiny bit. I'm going to use this wet Real Techniques sponge to apply this, and look up. And so we're going to dab this on and blend this into foundation. And we want to, you want to apply enough obviously for coverage, but this one doesn't take too much, but you also want to blend a little bit lower than the actual eye socket, and that also tricks the eye into seeing that whole area as being concealed. If you conceal just right under your lower lash line, sometimes it can look a little strange. So I'm going to blend it down into the cheek, and this sponge is great because it picks up any excess product. And then this concealer is quite emollient, so it is good for anti-aging, but you also are going to need to set it with just a tiny little bit of powder. So what's popular right now is the baking method, where you layer on a ton of powder. That's not what we want to do. No. We just want to do a little bit. So you're going to smooth out the concealer and just press it into the skin. And then before you smile or anything, we're going to set it with a little bit of loose powder. My favorite powder right now is this super cheap e.l.f. HD powder. This is the white one, translucent, and it's the loose powder. They've redone the packaging, so it's not quite as messy. Okay, so I put a little bit of that e.l.f. powder on my little handy dandy palette here. If you saw my blog about favorite products of last year, you'll see this on there, so look up. And we're just going to take that damp sponge with a little bit of that setting powder, and we're going to set that concealer. Again, we're not going to bake and pile on tons of powder, just enough so that that does not move throughout the day. Okay, so you can compare the set side with the non-set side, and once you set it, it also helps if you have any puffiness in your eyes. The matte texture, more of the matte look, I think helps reduce that look too. Now we're going to finish up the rest of her face, and then we'll do eyebrows and lashes. So we let that Bare Minerals kind of sink into the skin, which is a good thing. So now we're going to see if we need any more concealing or anything, and if you have like a little bit of a spot, you can go in with your concealer. The Bye Bye Under Eye, even though it's under eye, you can still use it around your face. You just want to make sure that you do set it, because it can be, it is so emollient. So if you have any spots, we all have those spots. I like just calling them little spots. So just put a tiny little dab and press it in with your finger. Boom, done. And any place that we've concealed, you can take that powder and just press it right over the top, and it helps it stay in place. I like either the pressed version of the Mineral Veil or the loose version. I think that pairs well with the Complexion Rescue. And generally, I like to do a combination of brush and then go back and you can press it in. So if you have any areas with pores or anything that you want to blur further, I think this works well. So let's do this. And I think this Mineral Veil, when I first tried it, I thought it's not doing anything, but it has, I think, cornstarch and something else in it that kind of helps set the makeup and blur fine lines. Now, after Up With People, what did your working career entail?
So I went back to nursing in a hospital, medical surgical nursing, and got into nursing management. And I did a little bit of work in the emergency room for a while, things like that. And then after about 13 years of working in hospitals, I got into installing or implementing electronic medical records.
Okay.
And first in a hospital that I had worked on the floor, and went into information technology to work for them and do that. And then eventually I went to work for a software company, doing it from that perspective and designing. I designed a couple of applications focused on pediatric care, so a growth chart, an immunization application to track
immunizations for children.
Right. So things like that, and then eventually I went back to work at a hospital, university hospital, and doing it from because it's always a partnership between the vendor and the hospital to do it. So I worked on both sides of that coin.
We're just going to add a little bit of shape and contour to the face because we did all that wonderful concealing and correcting. So we're just going to run a little bit of bronzer. This is the e.l.f. bronzer. contour palette, and we're just going to take a combination of these two. And we don't need to do anything crazy, but I'm going to take this pointed kind of fluffy brush, and it keeps it from becoming too harsh on the face. So we're going to go, basically the line, you want to follow the cheekbone, which is kind of right from the top of the ear down, and just go right there. And as we talked before, every person's face shape is different, and so different face shapes need different contouring. So Miss K has a nice slender face and good cheekbones here, good structure, and she does not have an enlarged forehead by any means. So if you have a larger forehead, you can take your contour up around here. We'll do a little bit into the temples just to kind of blend it. And as we were talking, you know, that 3 shape, you don't need to bring this down too low though, because that will shrink your forehead even more. So just keep it a little bit around the hairline, and your bangs cover most of your hairline anyway, but we just want to blend a little bit into the temples. And then we'll do a little bit, if you have a little, as some people say, fluff under the chin, or you don't feel like you have a real strong jawline, if you take a real fluffy brush, and we're just going to brush here, so here and under. And you don't want, if you're using a real pigmented bronzer, you want to be careful because it can make you look like you got a beard. We don't want that.
No.
And then you want to brush it down onto your neck. So anywhere you brush the darker shades of contour, it makes it recede. So it's going to push back any. We're going to add a little shadow here, make it look like you've got more of a prominent jawline. All these fun little things. And then we're not going to do a strong nose contour or anything, but we're just going to add just a tiny little touch of color here. Okay. And then we're going to add a touch of a little bit of blush. This is from Makeup Revolution. Also, this is one of their Hot Spice blush palette. And I think we're going to use more of this just rosy color. We are going to stay a little more matte for the blush, and then we'll add a tiny little touch of some shimmer on the cheeks. But, you know, we don't want anything, again, too glittery.
No.
So do you miss, Kay is recently retired. Well, when you guys moved out here, right?
Yes.
Was
About 3.5 years ago.
So has that been an adjustment?
No, it's many people thought I would have trouble retiring, and because I was always busy.
You worked, yeah, all the time.
And,
traveled a lot. Yeah.
And I was ready.
You were ready. It was a good time to retire.
Exactly.
Huh? And we're going to add a little bit of highlight. This is the Essence Pure Nude Highlighter. Everybody's talking about this because it looks really boring, looks like nothing, but on the skin it just gives a nice little pearly sheen. We're going to use just this Real Techniques setting brush, and we're going to dust just a little bit of this highlighter right on the top of the cheekbones. We're going to do the opposite of contouring. Wherever you brush this is going to bring light too. So if you have deep onset wrinkles out to the side, you don't want to do it right there. You want to do it right below, but Kay doesn't have those deep crow's feet.
Wait till I
We'll
smile.
stay right below. And if you feel like you have enlarged pores, you want to keep your highlight away from that. So that's why I think it's good to use kind of a smaller brush. You can kind of choose a little bit on top of the nose. And Kay is a pickleball, champion?
No.
She's almost there.
I play.
Learned to, and for those who don't know, because I didn't know what pickleball was, it's a combination of...
It's a combination of ping pong, badminton, and tennis.
Yeah. See,
So it's supposed to be the fastest growing sport in America, and
amazing.
it's played on a court that's the size of a badminton court.
Okay.
But it looks like a tennis court in the sense of it's concrete and has
Outside,
lines. So
usually?
you can play inside too.
Okay.
and you play with a paddle, but the paddle is bigger than a ping pong paddle.
But smaller than
a tennis
Okay.
racket.
Mm-hmm.
And the ball is about the size of a baseball, maybe a little bit bigger than a baseball, and it's hard rubber or
Okay.
plastic. There, it comes both. And
Does it hurt when you get hit with it?
a little bit. It's a wiffle ball, so it's
Oh,
got
okay.
holes in it.
Okay.
Um,
Interesting.
So it kind of stings if you get hit.
Okay.
Depends on how fast it's coming.
We're just going to take this NYX Micro Brow Pencil through her brows. We're going to test a new product for her, see how she likes this. I think, personally, I think a pencil, if it's a harder pencil like this one, I think it can be quick and easy, and it does stay in place all day. So we're going to try this with her.
But many young people, it was first perceived as an older person's game, but there are many young people playing it now. Started about 87, I think.
Oh, okay. All right. So it's been around a lot
It's
longer.
been, but it hasn't really taken off till recently, I think. And it's called pickleball because the people that invented it had a dog named Pickle.
Oh, see, near and dear to my heart.
So,
a dog lover.
Has nothing to do with
Pickles. I often
just-
wondered that. I was like, where did that get that name? There you go. Cool. Okay, I'm going to let Miss K curl her lashes. So one thing that is really important are lashes and curling your lashes with hooded eyes. So I'm going to give you the mirror. Okay, so Miss K has curled her lashes. So now we are going to apply some mascara. She's using the Neutrogena Healthy Lengths mascara. You like this one? The wand is not super large, and do you have it in the brown, black brown?
So.
Okay, so you go with a lighter. Another one that I was showing Kay, which I think is awesome, especially if you have hooded eyes, is the IT Cosmetics Tightline Mascara. This is just a travel size, which you can buy this or the full size, but it has the tiniest little brush on there, which allows you to get right to the root of the lashes without getting it all over the place. Always a challenge, huh?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, so for Kay's lip liner, or for her lipstick, we are going to be using this Clinique Pop Lip Color Plus Primer in Plum Pop. Oh, lots of pops in there. And we applied just a base layer of lipstick, had her blot. Then we went back with our NYX lip liner in the color Ever. Went around the edge of her lips, and now we're going to go on with the second layer of lipstick. So open and slightly smile. And this is going, by doing a couple of thin layers, it's going to help her lipstick stay on a lot longer. Now that's typically one thing I get a lot of questions from ladies at church. How do you get your lipstick to stay on? And those long wear lipsticks can be pretty drying. So this is a way to kind of turn a regular lipstick into more of a stain. And it also allows you to cheat your lip line just a little bit above maybe where it is naturally. Then if you feel like you've gotten a little crazy at all, you can go around the edge of your lip just with a tiny little bit of concealer and kind of redefine the outer edge. Clean up any lipstick that might have gotten outside those lines that you don't want there. Now we're going to blot one more time and go just a little more. Here in the center. And Kay has that nice rosy tone to her skin, so these berry colors look, I think, really nice on your skin tone. And this is a great color moving into spring. This is our finished Miss K. So if you want to put on your glasses. So see, she's not been able to see what she looks like. And so now all of a sudden, whoo, movie star. So there you go. Thank you.